guys from a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thursday Want to Talk to You. And I think and I said, you don't have to tell me what it's about. I said, if it's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, you definitely don't need to tell me what it's about. And I'm going on. This is what I want to do.
It's a Seinfeld podcast. It's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty. But I thought, this is what a podcast should be.
I just did the Seinfeld guys pod the other day. I came up with
these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh,
that one. Shout out. We've done it. I've done it. Have you did it?
I've not gotten a chance to do it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. They're so fun.
When I don't know, it must have shown up in my feed, but I see these guys tweeting about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find it's a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty.
One of the most popular Seinfeld podcasts is This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, co-hosted by Chris O'Hara and Tony Chula.
This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of 2 Up and 2 Down, and today we got Season 8 episode, Bizzaro Jerry. And Tony, start us off here with your first up.
Yeah, Bizzaro Jerry, I believe friend of the show, Dave Mandel, wrote this one. Talked to him about it in length. I think, he's kind of proud of this one. He's a big Superman guy like Jerry is. My first up on Bizzaro Jerry, and I'm glad I'm going first because this was hard to find ups in a way. I don't know how I may put this down. One of those things where it can go either way, I feel like, but I kind of liked, and this is another thing, O'Hara thinks I dig Jerry all the time. Dig on Jerry, I should say, but I actually dig him in this one. I like him. Him and Kramer with the whole thing there. I like I'll use one scene. There's a couple of scenes, but I don't want to take everything off the episode. So I'm going to use the dinner one when, Kramer comes home and Jerry's all upset with him. And actually it was for 2 and throws it in the sink. The whole operation's falling apart, and then because I think Elaine comes in at that point and really adds to that whole dynamic when Elaine's kind of telling Jerry about I think I'm really just giving Jerry an up in this kind of. I think it's all one scene though when Jerry's like, I read, to Elaine, a big deal, he gets all mad at this guy. I just thought Jerry really delivered in this episode. Playing that well with Kramer and the dinner, and then with Elaine and the Bizzaro guy. I thought he was a solid Jerry in a way here. So I'm going to give him an up there with the Kramer stuff with the dinner mainly. Throw in a little sprinkle of Elaine stuff there with the I love his delivery on that. Big deal. It's still just one thing. It's Jerry. Come on, that's my up. The dinner conversation. It's the same scene, I believe.
All right. Chris, right over to you. What do you got for your first up in here?
I sprinkled a little more, but listen, that scene was great. I agree. Jerry waiting in the dark, and then his response, you care. I ordered in. It's still effort. Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna go. And again, later seasons, I usually don't like these, but I like this montage with Kramer. Takes the morning train. That takes the morning train. Him in the subway, get hit back, and him getting ready for work, and old man Leland's all over him, and how that kicks off is incredible. And then obviously taking care of business, little TCB. Love that. And then he leaves before the montage starts. Obviously, what's in the briefcase? Crackers. Great line. And then obviously in the montage, he's eating the crackers. I don't know what about, I'm not a montage guy in these later seasons, but that was a fun one. Kramer with the suit on. I mean, he's the everyman, right? Whether it's, you name it, these wacky guys he's friends with, or the guy at the printer, right? I mean, man, Kramer connects. And obviously the montage was great. He's at happy hour, that New York City community, fun kind of life, hanging out at the work. That's an office I'd want to work at. The one, the old man Leland, you know what I mean? Versus the Peterman crew for sure. So Kramer, take care of business first up.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kramer going to work in the corporate world, I thought that was a great idea, and I think they executed that well. And like you said, I know you guys aren't big montage fans, but this one actually works. So, yeah, good up there. Tony, back to you. What do you got for your second up?
Got a whole new Chris O'Hara here, folks. Loving montages. There was a lot. You sprinkled a lot in there, by the way, too, because that was a lot of Kramer, which I agree with too. I wrote all that. I liked Kramer making the breakfast too in the morning. That's great. Jerry comes out. What the hell's going on here? That's pretty good stuff. The crackers in the briefcase. Yeah. Listen, this is a fun episode. It's not. We're not talking. It's season 8, but we'll get there. My second up is. This one I don't think O'Hara's going to agree with, but most of my ups revolved around that Kramer Jerry stuff. So let's stop, kind of there's where I'm at. And then it's kind of like half and half, if you will. But I'm giving Kevin an up. I thought Kevin was a good little character. I thought he played his part well. I liked his delivery. I chuckled a few times with him. The way he talked to Elaine was kind of funny. I'm not going out bigger than that, really. I just thought the guy that played Kevin did a really solid job. He's very just that happy-go-lucky kind of guy. I believe this is a carryover episode, right, where we kind of ran into Elaine already once. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of ups here. My whole list of ups is basically Kramer and Jerry. We just touched on both of them. I did write down Kevin. I wrote down, I liked his laugh. I liked his delivery. He made me laugh a little bit. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to give Kevin an up. The Bizzaro Jerry. That's my second up.
All right. Well, there you go. That's an up. Chris, thoughts on that, or just going right to your up?
I did not see that coming. Tim Decay. Interesting stuff. Hey, he's welcome on the program. But speaking of people that have been on the program, hard to ignore. I'm going Manhands. Love the whole Manhands thing. Who doesn't love Manhands? You see that in real life. Who do you think of? You think of Kristen Bauer. She delivered, grabbing Jerry's hand when he's in the pocketbook, opening up the beer, smushing his face. It was a friend of the show, of course. We had an incredible chat with her, and she talked about the guys whose hands it actually was. It's just great stuff. It's called the Bizzaro Jerry, but maybe Manhands gets overlooked. Some people, when you think Manhands, you think that's its own episode. So it's kind of one of those episodes where it's like, wait a minute, was this Bizzaro Jerry? What was this? But I think Manhands, the premise was, silly, but kind of refreshing, I would say, in season 8. I don't think it was as gimmicky as some of this other stuff. Low talker, high talker, all that. Like, they didn't do that for a while. Then they brought, she's got man hands. Like, I thought it played well. They didn't overdo it. To your point, Jerry had a really good episode. And they just sprinkled enough of Kristen Bauer in there to get me excited. So that's my first up is Manhands herself. I think she did a great job.
No, yeah, absolutely worth a mention and definitely a big up in this episode. So Tony, those are the ups from both of you guys. Give us your first down. What do you got?
Yeah, listen, I got to disagree a little bit there. I love Kristen Bauer. I understand where that up's coming from, but I think they did overdo it. I think O'Hara's a little lead. I think he's got a soft spot for Kristen Bauer, perhaps. I don't know what it is. Yes, she was great. But listen, this was just the same as everything else. How many scenes? 4 or 5 scenes with the same joke? They got to open the grist thing. Then they got to do this thing. They got to do this thing. Same thing. It's the premise. They just repeat it. I wrote down Manhands, 1 joke, 4 scenes. That's season 8 in a nutshell. That's season 9 in a nutshell.
But Feldman from across the hall with your guy Kevin is not.
I didn't say anything about Feldman. I said Kevin was my up. Just Kevin. Come on. Listen, I get your point on Bauer, but I just thought I thought the Manhand stuff got played out. I did. The lobster, the beer, the this, the that, the eyelashes. To take a lot enough. I mean, come on. That's my down, actually. I wrote down Manhands, 1 joke, 4 scenes. I'm gonna go back. That's what we love. 2 ups, 2 downs. He gives up, I give down. Kind of the same thing. Loved Kristen Bauer. Thought she was great. But I think that Manhand stuff was. I do agree the show probably should be called Manhand stuff. They're going to do everything else, the whole stuff, low talker, that kind of stuff. But that's my down. Sorry.
Wow. All right. Hey, that's the name of the show, and you guys get to pick your own. So that's the name of the game here. Chris, over to you. What's your first down?
First down. I like starting off downs if it's a start or and ups with shows kicking off. So for me, it's the cold open. I mean, if you guys remember this, it was brutal. They Jerry asking George if they haul you aboard the mothership, take you back to their planet, would you rather be in their zoo or their circus? This felt like a long cold open. George said, I got to go zoo. And Jerry says, but in the circus, you can ride around. I'm like, but George saying he wears a little hat. I mean, it's just, and Jerry Lucid show business. Like, well, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Talking about alien zoo or circus? And this is one of the worst cold. I mean, there's a lot of bad cold opens, but this is like, might take the cake. Alien zoo or circus? I can't even answer that question. I wouldn't even ask that question. It was beyond stupid and terrible. So, and then it obviously had nothing to do with the show. It was obviously a cold open, but bothered me. I don't remember it. So that tells you, sometimes you remember them like at the urinal, the Chamberlain talk, whatever, Summer George hitting the bee, whatever. This I don't remember. And I'm glad I don't remember it because it's a forgettable scene.
Yeah, like you said, it's forgettable. So it's nothing that you're gonna put as an up or remember the show for. So yeah, being a down, fine. Tony, over to you. What do you got for your second down?
Could not agree more. I wrote that down. Cold open, zoo circus, absolutely terrible. And you know what? And we had him on the show. He's one of my favorite guests we've had, I think, is Dave Mandel, because for the people that watch us all the time, we just destroy season 8 and season 9 every chance we get. And we didn't hold back. I mean, we talked to him about it, and he told us, and this is why I'm giving this. I mean, I just don't agree, but he told us why he did it, and he loved inside baseball stuff with the show. Vandelay comes up again in this episode. He loved callbacks. This guy was a callback kind of guy. He was a fan of the show, and he wrote like a fan. To Harris' point, those cold opens, his fingerprints are all over this thing. And my second down is the Elaine to Jerry. Complete meta, complete inside baseball, pull back the curtain. I can't come here every day and go over the same minutia of our everyday lives. Like basically talking about the show Seinfeld, the show about nothing, what everyone says the show is about, what they do. Like she has to say that. He loved those inside jokes. He loved writing about inside jokes and just kind of putting the show within the show. I mean, the whole thing is Bizzaro Jerry. It's a show within the show within itself. Brings back Vandelay. What bothers me though, while I'm on this, the Johnny Walker Black. You're doing all these callbacks. Where's my Hennigans? Bring back Hennigans. Kramer goes on a hard day's work. He's drinking Johnny Walker. I mean, you love callbacks. You're throwing Vandelay around. They must have got a deal from Johnny Walker, I'm guessing. Who knows? But didn't like that. But yeah, my second down is the Lane conversation with Jerry, and it ties into O'Hara's whole thing with the cold open. And just Mandel loved to do this, and I just didn't like it. He told us why he liked it and why he did it, and a lot of people love it. Hey, 30 million people watching, but to me, it's like Elaine telling Jerry, what she doesn't like about Jerry and the show, which is basically the show. So the whole thing was just too meta for me. I don't like that kind of stuff when they do that on this show. They do it a lot in season 8 and 9. That's my down.
Yeah, no, you said that's a great. Mandel was a lot of callback type of guy, and how did he miss not putting Hennigan's back underneath the counter there? It's a good call. So, Chris, over to you. What's your second down?
You guys are tough. Maybe he didn't want to overdo it. I don't know. I did notice the Johnny Walker, and I don't know. Didn't even think about it. And you're right. It didn't matter. 31.5 million people watched it, which was interesting. I forgot to tell you what was on that night. Division series. This is 96. So this October 3rd of 96, primetime baseball. Braves Dodgers. Maddox, another W there for the Braves. Maloney on CBS and ABC of Under Siege movie. Again, live baseball, but Seinfeld still dominates the ratings. Unbelievable stuff. All right. Good downs. My last down, I might as well it's a bunch for him, so I might as well take him. George with the models. I mean, and I know people love it. The Sipowicz poster. What is he? He's got none of that. When it was burning, he has a Yankee poster in his bathroom. This guy's 35 years old. It's not even in like a frame. It's like taped to his thing within the Sipowicz. Cool. That to me was a little gimmicky. I know Pink, they love it. They don't know who Sipowicz is, but I know some of the older fans like that. Oh yeah, NYPD Blue back there. I get it, and it's a big meme today. But I don't know. It's just, and then George and Jerry at the meat packing. I don't know. I'm like, what are we doing here? And like, he's cutting out model pictures. Like that joke went on too much. Like, I guess from a premise, it was okay in the beginning. Like, can I borrow that picture? And but I don't know. It's my dead fiance. None of it really ever jived with me, that whole scene. And it just wasn't funny. Like, he actually had a couple decent lines, like, oh, modeling, was that fun? Like, kind of, that was okay. But, like, I don't know. And him going by himself, like, Jerry's his like, teammate. It's his rock. It's his other. Like, I'm shocked he didn't bring him along, like, with all the women that were there. I don't know. I'm going on. I thought George had a pretty poor episode, which, again, he had a lot of season 8. And it wasn't a lot of, there wasn't any of that. It was just, like, the Dennis Franz thing, the model. It's just a little too much for me. It just wasn't that funny. So when it's not funny, it's getting it down. So Costanza didn't really bring it in, Bizzaro.
Yeah. And, well, speaking of callbacks, too, the reason that they're at Brant Leland to begin with is so that Kramer could go to the bathroom, because George knows where all the great bathroom spots are. So, but yeah, you're right with the models and all that. Too overdone. I think, I think they wouldn't have gone for it. Anyway, those are the ups and the downs. So, Tony, over to you. Wrap up your final thoughts here of the Bizzaro Jerry episode.
Yeah, good call there, Schmidt, on the bathroom stuff. That is another callback. I didn't like those model scenes at all. I didn't like those models. They were all terrible actresses. They didn't really look like models, to be honest with you. The whole thing was weird. I agree with O'Hara. Listen, I have basically have 3 grades written down, and they're all pretty much they're all in the same range. This, for everything we've said, I think this might be my favorite season 8. This is season 8, right? My favorite season 8 episode. It's up there. It's probably, if it's not my favorite, it's probably one of the top 3. Which top 5. It's gonna put it in a C range, folks. This is where I'm getting at. It's just which one of these? How high am I going? How low am I going? I think I'm just gonna end up with a solid C. I'm not going to argue a C minus. I won't really argue a C plus. I just don't think it could be anywhere better than any of those. It's kind of just an average episode. I think. Well, Kramer gave us some stuff in this. There's a pretty good Kramer episode, and Jerry gave us some stuff in this. That's half, right? So you got 2 ups. You got average, right? Elaine, I didn't hate the Bizzaro stuff probably as much as O'Hara did, which is why I was leaning C plus almost, but. The whole scene with her in the middle of the 2 groups, that's a big scene everyone loves. She knocks the guy over. I didn't hate all of that. I'm not going to kill Elaine. I'll kill George. And Elaine wasn't great. Everything else was kind of middling. So it's an average episode. I mean, I'm not going to kill. It's not an F range. It's not, it's not the worst episode in the world. It's one of the better season 8 episodes. That's going to give it, to my book, a C, a solid C for Bizzaro Jerry.
Yeah, to be honest, that's the grade I gave it. So, Chris, I'm interested to hear what you say. What do you got here for your grade and final thoughts?
So what did you give it, a C? Yeah, I got 2 grades here. You're not, I don't know if you're talking me up, but I don't know what you're talking me, but I thought Kramer was incredible this episode. Incredible. In the morning, the eggs I like, but then when he came home the first day reading the paper, Jerry saying, we hardly talk anymore. It's my crazy time of year. It's your third day. That stuff was great. Incredible. And producer Chris Kramer with the working. I mean, finally we saw a sneak peek into that, and he's the everyman. So bravo with Kramer. But the name of the episode is the Bizzaro Jerry, and I know that my partners loves Kevin and these other guys and Feldman and whatever. It just felt very sitcom-y, like, oh, let's do the complete opposite. Like, even the apartment, like, and the FedEx guy's Newman, like, I don't know. It was just like too perfect, and like, and I don't like Reggie's. I never liked them at Reggie's. Like, did it really have to be everything was the exact? I get it, Bizarre. I get it, but like to the 10th degree, we already have a George, decent line, I guess. I don't know. Elaine, like, she was there, but not. Yeah, did the push, but something was off. It wasn't the cutesy Elaine. It wasn't the bitch Elaine. It was just like she was kind of like nothing. All right, George was terrible. We can admit that. I don't know. Manhands we talked about. Loved her, but didn't dominate. I got 2 grades here. I'm not going as high as Tony here. Screw it. Bizzaro Jerry's a D plus. I thought about C minus, but the Bizzaro stuff was just too much for me. It was just too much. And again, back then it rated well. I'm sure they promoted the Superman stuff. The whole thing, I get it, but again, Kramer on his own is an A, but it's kind of a weird episode, like the Bizzaro stuff, the Manhands stuff. It honestly did feel like 4 separate episodes, and for that reason, I can't really elevate it. Kramer's 1/4 of it. I'll give him an A, but Jerry kind of was okay. Everyone else is bad, even the guest stars that you love. So, except for Bauer, she was lovely. But long story short, D plus for the Bizzaro Jerry. I'm sticking with it.
No, all right. I mean, it's close, to the C range anyway. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if it's not gonna, I don't think the laughs are there for this episode to go really any higher than a C. Conceptually, I thought, yeah, it was a good idea, Bizzaro Jerry and the Manhands, but maybe not as executed as well. So for that reason, yeah, it's not a strong episode in our minds. So we again appreciate everybody tuning in for our thoughts here, and hope to see you on our next episode.